introduce Dr. Nadine Burton from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and she is the alternative crop specialist there. Take it away, Dr. Nadine.
Hey, thank you, Jason. Thank you guys for the opportunity to present and promote locally grown ethnic crops. And why, there are some of the reasons, some of the questions I know, why am I promoting it? So we'll just talk about the background, why we started it, some of the research that we have conducted here at UMES, the decimation factors, as well as we look at proof of concept, some success report, and where we're at now. So today, there is a growing demand for locally grown ethnic crops. And this is stemmed from a number of factors, which include, it could be considered in different categories as extrinsic, psychological, or socio-cultural factors. But if you look at my screen, you will see that I put migration in red. Why? Because migration, which comes under extrinsic factor, is one of the driving force, main driving force for locally grown ethnic crops. When immigrants migrate, some of the things that we don't change is our diet. And so we tend to want to search for these food. Coming to the US is different diet, different food. And so this creates an economic opportunities for farmers to grow ethnic crops. When you look at psychological factors, you see where we say desire for healthier diets. It is perceived by a number of persons that ethnic cuisines are more healthier. I'm not going to debate that. And for flavor, it depends on people's preference. And that is what driving some of the ethnic cuisine, like Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, Jamaican restaurant. And don't think for a moment that these restaurants only serve their ethnic cultural groups. No. I got the opportunity to walk into a Caribbean restaurant, and I was determined what I want. I want curried goat, but I want it spicy. I don't want a lot of gravy. I don't want this. I don't want that. I was requesting it the Jamaican way. And the person looked at me and said, no, 90% of the persons who we serve are American. And so we have to adjust our cooking style. We offer the same food, but the way we would prepare it for Jamaicans, we can't do that for our customers. And so we have to address how we have to change our preparation method. And so I recognize that with not just the market for fresh produce, but also the ethnic restaurants, they are big contenders for getting the food to prepare it. So for those who are adventurous, for those who want flavorable food, for those who want to that desire healthier diets based on their perception, but these foods don't generally grow in the US. And so as researchers, so in January of this year, I got the opportunity to present at the Urban Winter Meeting. And one of the things I look at the population, immigrant population within DMV. And it was surprising to me to see the high percentage, 25% of the population in the DMV area are immigrants. And this is constantly growing. And if you look in the last column, you'll see that 14% of persons born, of native born, at least one of them are from migrant parents. And as I said, when we travel, we take our culture with us. And one of the things that we do is the food. When we can download music or find new stations that will offer our music or play them, when we have religion, when we have church established and teach the principles that we are accustomed to, when we can find groups to come together, some of the things that hard to find is the food that we are accustomed to. So while this creates an economic opportunity for our local farmer, as researchers, we look at it at a bigger perspective. We look at it as helping to improve food insecurity. If 23% of our population in DMV are migrants, it tells us that there is probably 23% of the population not getting preferential food that they're accustomed to, because these are the food that are not grown here regularly. And so not only that they're not grown here regularly, but the fact that we're looking too at increasing population. So from a researcher standpoint, we look at it as good. Okay, we can diverse our crops, and we can combat a number of things. We can respond to our farmers' concern by helping them to grow these crops, as well as we can address food insecurity and enhance biodiversity. So those are some of the things that you'll hear my name called all the time. Those are of interest to me to build or promote diversity in your crop offering, because it is very beneficial, not just from an economic development. And so 2014 at our small farm conference, our farmers at an ethnic crop session, we learn of the concern of the farmers. Yes, we want to grow it. We know that we can capitalize on this. There's money in it. We want to do it, but who do we sell to? Where do we market this product? What do we plant? Those were their concern. And so as researchers, and we know food security is one of our biggest issue right now, knowing that population is expected to increase over 8 billion. So when we heard that, Corey Cotton at the time, she said to us, young researchers, myself, Celia White and Luke Lee, she said, guys, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do to make sure that we play our role as a university to help our community? And she reached out to Mr. Yao from UDC, and we look at Rutgers, because they are the leaders on the eastern side of the country. They're the leaders in ethnic crop production. They are ahead of us. We are the babies. We just started. And so she collect information from them, and we put together 2014, we conduct our research growing 21 ethnic crops. We look at yield per hectare. We look at ease of growth and the number of ethnic groups that utilizes these crops. 70% of the crops that we try did do well, producing a high yield. If you look at it, there are some of them right here that shows 0. And for this, like the smooth loofah, we missed the harvesting time. This was very new to us, so we're still working on that. For edamame, it did very well, but the deers love it too much, so we did not get to do yield data on that. But after getting this information, this was not enough information for us to look at a farm and say, oh, you can grow this crop, because we know that if a crop grows well in Princess Land, it does not necessarily mean it will grow well in DC. So we have other research. We have to keep on making sure that we are conducting our researches so we can provide farmer with meaningful research-based information. So in 2016 and 2017, I did my PhD looking at 3 crops, but today I'm only going to talk about 2 of them. We look at amaranth, which is commonly called callaloo, as well as hibiscus, which some people will know as Jamaican sorrel. We look at these two crops and we look at location and we look at fertilizer. We know one of the biggest issue is some persons are doing organic, some persons don't care much about organic. So we want to give farmer the information if organic, if there's a significant difference. So we conduct the research for 2 years and we use chemical fertilizer, which we use 2020, triple 20 for that. And we use vermicompost with fish emulsion and poultry litter leachate. When we look at the data, there were no significant difference in yield, which was good. But when we look at location, we recognize that there was significant difference for hibiscus. And hibiscus is a very funny crop. So we are still doing our research on that. So we recognize that in some areas, based on soil nutrient or sunlight, the plant will do differently when we look at yield. So further on in the studies, we extrapolate the data to see what an acre will look like, an hectare will look like. And when we compare them to standard, we recognize that we are right on par with the standard, and there were no different on our fertilizer. So now we have enough. We have some, not enough. We put a little more meat on the bone right now, so we have enough. But is it possible that a farmer would buy this concept? Or the next thing that we face is that we were not able to interact with farmers now. So we have gone to conferences, we talk about it, but that's where it stopped. And we recognize that we were not meeting the group of persons that we wanted to meet. So in 2018, the university, the extension section in the university, they include an educational track to educate farmers on alternative agriculture. At the time, I was appointed the position. And so I'm now working with them on this. And the first thing I look at, I said, okay, one of the things that can come under this is diversification and diversifying your crop offering. So today we work as the liaison between our researchers and our farmers, giving them the information. So we, through dissemination, we provide on-farm training, workshops, conferences, we do our newsletter, we have websites, and of course we do field tours. But we also know, myself as a farmer know that information is important, hands-on is important, and to get farmers, convinced is not easy, because farmers don't readily buy into our concept. They have to see it, try it, and know that it works. And so in 2018, we have a number of farmers who signed on to work alongside us, which was good. And we, in order to give them more meaningful information, we conduct some other field trials. We grow 1/4 acres of callaloo, Scotch bonnet pepper, and hibiscus. From this, we obtain expense budget, production practices that will work. So we have more information. We develop we identify market opportunities and also planting material. We have some farmers who came on board and they work alongside us. Some stick around, some didn't want to bother with it, because we have to come up with ways. Yes, the seed grow at UMS, but they were still hesitant about whether or not they can grow it and it makes sense for them. Some of them tried and it did well, but others, it didn't do so well. So from our 1/4 acre trial, we conduct surveys and we use our products, what we have harvested from our crops. We use it to penetrate the market. We have gone to restaurants, we have gone to wholesale, international food store, and of course our campus community, because our campus is very diverse. And so we have test all the marketing areas within our circle. Of course, we went to maybe 2 restaurants in DC. So we couldn't sell it because this is federal funds, so we were not able to sell. But what we did, we gave everything away 2018, and we asked these persons, will you buy from our farmers? And how much will you buy per week? What amount would you pay per pound? Those are the questions we asked to do our survey. And so we were able to do a projected expense budget. Now, with that, I felt comfortable that, you know, we have some more information. Yes, it can grow here, and this is what it's going to cost you to grow a 1/4 acre. And I was hoping that will boost our small farm group. So for Callaloo, we plant from the 1/4 acre, we recognize, we put everything, our labor, every minute that we spend, every penny that we spend on this, packaging, everything. And that costs us $9,395. So when from our yield, what we got over 13,000 pounds. And so we times it by the average price that we got from our survey, $2.50 per pound. And that is 32,500. That was our projected yield. And so if you look in the bottom column, you'll see we have a $23,000 profit. Next, we did not just do 1/4 of an acre, so we do 1 single row, 100-foot row by 3 feet wide row. And so that if you don't want to, because we're not telling farmers, go and plant 3 acres of Callaloo or plant, you know, an acre of Callaloo. We want to show you that these crops do work, and on smaller scales too. So we plant one row, and we did the expense budget from the 1 row. And it shows that a farmer can make roughly $3,000 from a 100-foot row of Callaloo. And that is over 14 weeks period. Now for our sorrel, the sorrel did not grow in 2018. That is, as I said, it's very tricky, and it's like touch and go. You have to find the right variety. And so 2019, we went back and we planted a few rows of hibiscus, 263 plants to be exact. And we collect our yield. The average yield per pound was 3 pounds. Now, for hibiscus, America is known as one of the main importers for hibiscus tea. But for us, if we get the opportunity to grow it, we won't even have to compete with those who are bringing it for teas. Most of the persons who use these crops rather them fresh, and fresh yield will give you higher money compared to when it's dried. So when we look at hibiscus, if we can grow this crop and harvest it, we're looking at a crop that is as high value, that will bring us roughly between $15 to $20 a pound. One of the things about hibiscus, it is labor intensive when it comes to harvesting. But a number of persons are going after this crop based on its nutritional quality. Now, there are equipments for harvesting. I can't find them in the state, but they do have them in Jamaica. So we are looking into that. For our Scotch bonnet pepper, from the 1/4 acres, we harvest over 7,000 pounds. And we estimate the price for $3.50 per pound. And when you look at your net income for a 1/4 acre, you can make $1,825. With all of this information, I was head over heels. Now I made my booklet. I said, okay, I can win farmers, I can get them on board. But as I said earlier, farmers don't readily accept certain things. And yes, we do have some farmers, but we wanted more farmers on board because the farmers who are growing, they don't even touch. This is just the tip of the iceberg of the market that is out there they are covering now. And so there's still a need for more producers. So, okay, so this is our success report. In 2018, when we were seeking market for our produce, I walk in Irish Cafe in DC, and I was like, oh, we are growing callaloo. I just want to know if you'd buy it from a farmer, if it is grown here, how much would you pay and what amount? And this lady was standing patiently behind me. And when I was finished talking to the owner of the store, she turned to me and she said, I want some callaloo to buy. I said, we are not allowed to sell it. If we give you some, you have to sign liability form. She said, I don't care. I want 100 pounds. So the following week, we brought 100 pounds to her, and she cuts this callaloo. She packaged them by pound, and she sold them $5 per pound. So from the 100 pound of callaloo, she was over the moon. She made $500. The following week, she said, give me 200 pounds. And so this encourages me. And this also shows me that there is hope. All is not gone. Because as researcher, if you are passionate as I am, I want it to do now. I want to see farmers on board. I want to see market. I want to see all of this. But I recognize it's very slow, and I have to play my part to let farmers see that this does work. The second picture here is myself and Michael Seagrass, my colleague. We worked together. In 2019, when we harvested our hibiscus, we were looking persons just to take it from us. And we end up in Virginia, Black Narrow Brewery. And we gave them 80 pounds of hibiscus. They use it in their beer making. We get the opportunity to go down and taste the beer. And from that, every year we have been giving them hibiscus for their beer because we still can't find farmers to grow the hibiscus for them. This is a picture of Thelonious Cook. He's on board with us from we started in 2018. I got the opportunity to talk to Thelonious maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, Thelonious, can you tell me what impact these things has on the crops that you get from us, your sorrel, your callaloo, what impact it has on your farm? And I was amazed. I was totally blown away when he said, Nadine, this has increased my farm income by 60%. And that tells us that I did not connect Thelonious with market. I did not do anything for him when it comes to marketing his produce. He went about it on his own. He finds persons who are interested in the produce. And every year he asks for more planting material. So it tells me that his business is growing. Now, this person is from DSU too. And I met him in the same time when I met Miss Christie. And Mr. Roy, he said to me, I want some Scotch bonnet seedlings to plant and do my jerk season. He has a tiny greenhouse. We gave him 50 plants. Every year we drove down to the Eastern Shore to collect his 50 plants. And his jerk season has taken off. He's doing good business and turning over his income and doing very well at it. So those are some of the things. Those are some of the farmers who are doing this, who are working with us, and they are doing well. But at the same time, I am like, okay, these farmers are doing well, but how do I convince other farmers that yes, it works? So what I did, I went ahead and I went ahead and established a farm last year for myself. It's called Talawa Farms. So we said I'm gonna use this for proof of concept. So I planted 3/4 acres. We grow 600 callaloo plants, 450 West Indian red pepper, 400 Scotch bonnet, 200 African egg, garden egg, and 400 okra, 1,000 bell pepper plants. And I make sure I do this because I was looking to, I get farmers to come and see, and I was very transparent with them what is going on. And with the help of Mr. John Manirakiza and Michael Carter from DSU, they have identified more market than I could sell to. And over the 14 weeks, this is the yield that we have harvested. For the garden egg, this was new to me. It was the second time I was planting this crop, and I wasn't really loving the crop because it hitches. My skin wasn't agreeing with it at all. And I did not pay much attention to it. But there are farmers who do well with this crop. But this year I'm planting the crop again, and I'm definitely gonna plan and prepare for it. So
Nadine, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, good, thank you. So with this, we identify so many markets. Talawa turns over, it generated $30,000. That's the income. And so we are very transparent with our farmers. We want them to, after taking out all my expenses, I was left with like $12,000. Now, turning the page. Today, with the help of Mr. Manirakiza and Mr. Carter, we have identified a number of markets that are willing to work with our farmers. And there is a list of them. We have 10 new farmers, and we are distributing over 10,000 seedlings this year. So I am more encouraged. There is growth. For new crops, because I believe that every farm is unique, and to reduce competition and excess to so we can maintain a high cost or high price, we are gonna do 4 different crops this year. So we're looking at the African garden, the Jamaican pumpkin, water leaf, and cassava leaves. Those are the crops that we're gonna do. And over 2 years, we're supposed to have information to introduce these crops to more farmers, find markets, and give them, show them how to grow it. Now, as I said, turning the page, we are not just looking at new crops, but we are looking at different areas. So we are doing value added. We are making wine. We are making sorrel juice, sorrel jams and jelly. We have the seasoned callaloo that you can throw in your microwave and let it stay for 5 minutes, and then you have ready greens to eat. Our jerk season, and also our Scotch bonnet pepper. And this is just freeze-dry Scotch bonnet pepper that extend your shelf life, so you can have things to sell during the downtime. So that's the end of my presentation. I really thank you for the opportunity, to promote what we are doing here at UMES.
Thank you. That was great. So there's quite a few comments and things going on in the chat box. The first question was, what fertilizer treatment do you use in the field and greenhouse plants?
Well, for greenhouse, we rarely use. I have come up using poultry litter leachate for most of the things in the greenhouse. For field, it's a mix. Based on my research, we use both chemical fertilizer and poultry litter leachate. But from my study, it depends on what. Thelonious is full organic. It goes all the way, and it depends on what you want. And we'll advise you as you go along.
Based on product.
Yes.
So the second question is about callaloo. I know you explained a little bit about what it was, but what dish can you make from it or drink from it?
Oh my! I should have give you all of that. So callaloo, we use it for drink back home. It's blend and with pineapple and lemon, and that is good for persons with hypertension. It is said that it helps in that area, but it is used like a spinach. So I stir-fried, I chopped and stir-fried on top of the stove. A number of different ethnic groups use it differently. I know some of the Africans use it like in soups. and call it pepper pot soups, things like that. So there are a number of things. I can send you those recipes and you can, you know,
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll send you the recipe after this.
Okay. The next question is still about callaloo. Someone wants to know about local sources. They seem to be different plants, and some are too bitter. So, do you have any recommendations on where to buy seed?
That is why we are here, because we know that it's challenging for people to get these varieties. When we were planting, we ordered callaloo seed, and when we planted, it was totally the opposite of what we were looking for. So what we do here at UME is we try to distribute these planting material. So during your growing season, because callaloo is from the family, from the amaranth family, and we know the Palmer amaranth, it has same characteristic. It can become a weed. I don't give out seeds. And I encourage, so I give you the seedlings, I'll plant them, I'll just bring them to you, I'll send them to you wherever I have to do, and I will encourage you that never let them go to flower. So because you'll have problems on your hand. So you can get the variety that we are growing here. And I can tell you it's not bitter.
Okay. Another question, since most ethnic foods are currently imported with additional fees in the final price, would ethnic farming be cheaper for the final consumer since it's homegrown?
Yes, it will be cheaper. That's what we are looking for. So we want accessible and available food. That's what we are looking for. And two, it is more nutritious. It is more nutritious because we know after 24 hours, nutrients start to deplete. So, and most of the things that we get that is imported, it comes in different forms. It's either it's canned, dried, or processed something. But if we grow it here, we can still maintain a high price, you know, but it will be more affordable for our consumers.
Yeah, Andy said from Del State he did a similar study in DC, and there was a high demand for amaranth from Mexican grocery stores, Chinese grocery stores, West African, and Jamaican. So they're ready to buy on the spot.
Yes, they do. Right now, John and Michael, they're out there, and the demand is so high. I'm gonna still do my farm. Our farmers, I'm presently working on how much plants farmers need to grow so we can fill the market. So there's a demand, and we know, yes, we have growers in DC who are capitalizing on this, but we can make our indent. We can grow it, and we're coming up with ways where we work as a group, and so we'll be able to better take some of the transportation costs of our farmers.
Okay, great. And there was just some more comments about the callaloo, and someone asked for your contact information. So your email address, if you could provide that.
Oh Lord, I did not write it on that, but it's NM Burton.
I'll write it. NM.
Yeah, Burton. At unes.edu.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Jason?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Megan, for your doing the questions the whole time and everything else you've done for this conference, and as well with John Clunan and the other Small Farms crew. Thank you, Nadine. We still have several other speakers on, so thank you to all of you as well.